Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of A Seat at the Table, hosted by yours truly, Karl Singleton. Here at A Seat at the Table, we pride ourselves on bringing our viewing audience, decision makers, and/or those with connections to those decision makers, so that we can ensure that our community needs are met with viable resources. Of course, again, these are no strangers to our podcast. We have Commissioner Thomas Carter of the Harrisburg Police, as well as the Honorable Judge Royce Morris, Dauphin County Judge of Court of Common Pleas. We know that we've heard a lot about, the gang violence, the shootings, the violence overall in our schools and our communities. And these gentlemen basically firsthand have firsthand interactions with the aftermath of those issues that we talk about. So what we wanted to do today was to bring these gentlemen in to have a real community conversation, not just with us as adults, and not just how we define community, but to actually get their perspectives, but also receive some feedback from our young people that are actually in these communities, in our schools that we're talking about, oftentimes without them being present. So we pride ourselves here as this media outlet to making sure that we are an alternative to tradition, to how things are done traditionally. And so today is no different. We're going to have a conversation with those that are, of course, in decision making positions, but get viable feedback and solution based discussion going from our young people that are from the community. So without any further ado, gentlemen, please, for those of who may not know you, take a moment just to introduce yourself and talk about why this topic is important and you thought it worthy to be here.
Commissioner Thomas Carter, Harrisburg City, born and raised here. Harrisburg High School graduate. I'm proud about that. I was at the football game on Saturday, and I thought it was going to be a homecoming football game, but then I was told, that the homecoming had been canceled, due to the recent violence at the school. For those of you out there listening, I'm pretty sure that everybody has heard about um, the unfortunate incidents of fights going on up there at the high school and the shooting in the parking lot. Along with that, we've been having numerous shootings in the neighborhoods where homes were like shot up. A couple young people shot. And for those of you who have never really witnessed a shooting or been around a person who has been shot, it's really not a pretty sight. As you're looking at the person, what you may see is just bleeding blood and stuff like that because of their clothing. But once they get to the hospital and they're, cracked open, it's a horrible sight because a bullet does a lot of damage to the body, and our body wasn't really made for that sort of damage to be done. So I'm here. We have some young people here. I have my colleague here with me, the Honorable Judge, and we would just like to have a real conversation with the youth here so that we understand and learn how we can be a vessel to try to help you stop the violence or just tell us, what we can do because you are the subject matter experts in this area. And please use me. If I can help anybody, please use me so that we can help.
Thank you,
Commissioner.
Commissioner Carter. I appreciate your comments, and I'm Royce Morris. I'm on the Court of Common Pleas of Dauphin County. I'm assigned as the juvenile judge, and so I see a lot of young men and young women who've come in front of me who have been accused of offenses that were committed in this community, and I have the unfortunate pleasure of seeing some of those young people graduate into the adult system way too young, 14, 15, 16-year-old children. It's distressing to me that we, as Chief Carter was saying, we now have or Commissioner Carter, we now have a 16-year-old incarcerated for allegedly murdering someone in the city. And that's a sad state of affairs. And so something that we're not capable of doing is understanding the perspective that the young people are coming from when they witness these things and when these things occur in the community. So I welcome the opportunity to learn and try to be of assistance in any way that I can from my vantage point, understanding that, even though Commissioner Carter and I are older men now, we were young at one time, and we experienced some of the same stresses that I believe exist in the community now. They may have been dealt with differently, but we know that there are things that worked in the past that may not work now. So we're here to listen and try to be of service to the young people in the community in any way that we can.
So a lot of, I mean, I guess, before we bring our young people on, you hear a lot of rumblings in the community about there's nothing for the kids to do. Um, so they act out, or you hear that, school is boring, or, whatever these things are. None of it justifies um, violence is the message that we want to convey, that we want to continue to push. But at the same time, we want to be understanding and have empathy and compassion for those young people that are out there that are acting out in a way where they're crying out and yearning for assistance, yearning for help. So there are resources out there. We have the pleasure of having, a community advocate that was with the Boys and Girls Club when I was actually, at the South Side with Sherman Cunningham, got arrested. So in the building with us tonight. And he has, well, doesn't look like it, but he has well over 40 years of experience working with youth. And one of the things we were talking about before you came in is he was talking about the disconnect, and to a certain extent the young people's unwillingness to really engage in dialogue. And my response, and we started talking about it, was they do discuss, they do have dialogue. They just are choosing not to have it with us to a certain degree because they talk amongst themselves. And I was simply saying we need to offer that same respect to them, to show them that we care and that we are willing to communicate and listen to them as the subject matter experts. And they're the ones that actually have the solutions, because they know what's going on intimately, day to day, amongst their peers, and we don't. And when we find out, and unfortunately, it's reactive. This is an opportunity, and this is not a one shot deal. We're going to do this, ongoing with the young people, hopefully once a month, in which I'm not saying you all in particular, but just getting them around other professionals to be able to have the dialogue, have the discussion. Part of with the Kings group that we're involved with, to keep inner city neighborhoods great and safe, is set up to do the mentor protege interaction, talking about career pathways. And so we brought the young people in. We have you here, and we're going to take full advantage of that. So on the other side of this commercial, we're going to welcome a few of our young people to get us started with some interaction and dialogue with the Honorable Judge Royce Morris and Commissioner of the Harrisburg Police Department, Mr. Thomas Carter. You can hear me but not see me because we have had an esteemed guest join our panel that has some questions and is willing to interact. So please introduce yourself. What grade are you in and where are you from? And yeah.
Okay. So my name is Eddie Simmons, and I'm 17, and I'm in the 12th grade, and I came from Harrisburg, PA, born and raised.
Okay. And what type of questions do you have for the gentleman here, or what are some of the things that you see going on in the community as a young man that you would like to address?
Well, see, there's a lot of things that goes on inside the community that is like not right, and I see it, and I would like I don't say nothing to them because it's like not my job to. So I just sit there and monitor things that goes on, and just be like, this can be better, or this should happen, things like that. Like it's like bad. It's like so bad, like out the south where like it's bad.
So I'm not asking you to name names or anything like that, but what are some things that you believe need to get better, or needs fixing, for lack of better terms, in our community?
I say all the violence, like shooting and fighting, and then like the violence inside school wise, it's like crazy.
Gentlemen,
Are there gang issues you think now? Are there people?
Royce, your mic.
I said, are there gang issues? Are there people having to pick sides and be a part of gangs?
I
Is there
would
pressure to do that?
no, I wouldn't say it's like gang issue. I say it's just like fooling around with the wrong people. Like you can be friends with this person and like this person get into a fight and then like you think just because that's your friend you gotta hop in it. So I wouldn't say it's like gang related. I say it's just too much buddy stuff going on.
Okay. So there's pressure to you know help your friends if something jumps off, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that.
So in the past, we'll say when we were in school, things like that did happen. So we're not saying that we're oblivious to that, but the consequences are different now. And what we need, as you said, so what do you think? You're shaking your head. Yes, tell me about it. Tell me what you think.
Cause like nowadays it's like the consequences are so different as to like the point is that like if you were there and like that's your man's fighting or whoever and you're sitting there like recording it or getting ready to jump in it, like it's like you're getting suspended or you're getting in trouble too just for being there. Like wrong place, wrong time type
Mhm.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel as though like I wouldn't say it's right and I wouldn't say it's wrong, but some people it just like can't get around it. It's just like it might just be right there in the way they're going, and they just might just be there, and they're getting in trouble just for being there.
Okay. So that is different than the person who is whipping out the phone and recording it. Now, if you
Exactly.
happen to be walking by on your way to class, that's one thing. But if you become the hype man in terms of
And
recording
watch
it
the
and
fight.
posting it in that piece, that's where that consequence comes in at. Do you think that's fair?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's not fair, but some people just think that everything should be on the media, so they
Mm,
would just want to record it. Other people just think I can just go back and watch this video and see how I did in this fight type situation.
mm,
So, and like other people just sit there and watch it just to watch it, just because it might just be something else to do, then go to class.
mm.
So Eddie, thank you for coming up here. Thank you for being brave, and thank you for sharing with us. Um, I just need some guidance. How can the adults, how can the grown men, how can we make things better for the youth? What can we do to make you feel safe in school so that you're there to learn, so that the disruptions are cut down, and that you have an opportunity to either go to trade school, go to college, or maybe even service, military, something like that. How can we help you guys in that area?
Well, I think for I think we need like better programs like inside the school type thing. Like it'd be some kids that just want to have like a classroom where they can just sit there and just like talk to other people and just do other things and be some people that just want to sit there and just play ball all day or or do whatever. And then be some people that just don't care and they just go to school just to walk around the building and start problems for real. So I wouldn't say it's like something that need to be like put in place to change it. It's just that these kids need to go to school to actually get an education nowadays. So like they need to stop with all the fighting for real. Cause like with all the fighting going on, it's stopping like our homecoming dance and like our homecoming parade. It's stopping a lot of stuff for us to actually do. So by them doing all the fighting and then by them saying we can't have this or we can't do this or we can't do that, it's making them even madder just because now there's repercussion going on from their action.
Okay.
Okay, good word. Good
Yeah.
word.
So what are some programs? If you know what's going on in school in terms of the science, the math, the English, the requirements.
Yeah.
What are some programs that you would like to see that will maybe have you? I'm not saying you're not engaged. I'm sure you're a straight A student. I get that. But what would have you even more excited about school if you were learning about what?
Well, see, now I'm not gonna cap. When I was younger, I was like bad. So by me being that bad, they brought it was a group into the school. It was called Hood Rise.
Hold your mic. Hold it. Yeah.
Okay, right. So it was a group inside the school, right? It was called Hood Rise, and they actually helped me from stop fighting stop getting in trouble with all these other kids that was just like messing with me or wanted to bust. 'Cause, like I was not the type of person that started busting. I was the type of person that was just straight about fighting, nothing else. But I mean, who came up to me and would have said, "Oh yeah, you look like this, or you did this, or you did that." It was straight going to fighting. So,
Mm-hmm.
so by them bringing that group into the school, it was like, okay, it was like, okay, yeah, you need to stop doing this. You need to just go ahead and focus on your education. So I was getting better and better as time went on, but I was still getting into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So about time, like my 7th grade year, I got into like one fight that old school year. And then my 8th grade year, I didn't get into no fights.
Right.
And then ever since then, I have not been getting into no trouble. It's just been focusing, maintaining my grades, playing sports, and that's about it.
Congrats. We're happy about that. What?
I have a
Oh,
question.
sure.
When did you get involved with that group? Because that's important. If that group helped you, what grade were you in when they got involved with you?
I was in the 6th grade.
Mm.
Okay.
Cause like my 5th grade year, all I did was skip. I didn't go to none of my classes. I didn't do anything. It was like I'm here to be in the hallways,
Mm.
the chill with all the other kids in the hallways, and we used to just skip and then do whatever we wanted to do. And then about 6th grade year, it was about towards the end of 6th grade year, they brought the group into the school, and me and the people in the group got closer, and it was just it just got better from there.
Okay. So,
So,
okay. No, go ahead, Chief.
Eddie,
Commissioner.
it sounds like to me that you have a plan, and you're a senior, correct?
Yes.
So, what is your post high school graduates? After you graduate, what do you see yourself doing?
Well, with me, it's like I still never figured it out because it's either I wanted to do a walk in that play football and do culinary arts also, or I was just gonna go to the school in Philly and just maintain culinary arts.
Okay, but you have a plan. You know that you want to do something positive with your life.
Yes.
Okay, okay. May I suggest that Carl Singleton, we have a group called Kings, that you come around here and that you shadow one of the professional people that we have, and maybe they can, you know, sit down with you and talk to you to see how they can help you out, so that you can take positive steps in order to reach your goal.
Okay.
Oh, definitely. He's already on the list. We definitely look forward to that. But I want to encourage you further because you said, quite frankly, 6th grade is when Hood Rise was very impactful in your life.
Yes.
But when's the last time you interacted with that organization?
Well, me and the owner of Hood Rise, me and him still talk.
Good.
Like I don't like really go to the building like that. Like the
Hmm.
last time I was there was over the summer because they had a program over the summer where we
Hmm.
just help and like I wouldn't say like babysit, but we would
Hmm.
just watch the younger kids that
Right.
come in, and then we have like he have like a room for us like where we did work over the summer and everything
Hmm.
like that. But yeah, it was.
Yeah. The reason why I was asking that is because I didn't know if it was still in the school, and
I
if
mean, it's not in the school.
right.
Well, I don't think it's in. Well, it's not in the high. I
Right,
know
and that
that
was my
much.
point. What I wanted to do is encourage you because you made a decision, even though the program is not there any longer in terms of day to day or as often as you were seeing it as a 6th grader, you made a conscious decision to still stay the path. So I
Right.
want to encourage you and say congratulations and just highlight that because oftentimes we don't highlight our young people, and it may seem like a small step to, or maybe you never even thought about it, but you know, with everything going on in this community, you made a decision and you've been 6 years committed to having a plan.
Right.
You've been 6 years committed to not hanging in the hallways, not just using your people skills. So if conflict arises, fighting is not the first thing that you resort to. You have a tool bag now, for lack of better terms. And I want to commend you, while you're here and moving forward, because our young people, our young scholars like yourself, and the others that are in this room that are willing to come in here and talk, we need to continue to pour into you and encourage you so that you can encourage other people. And so that's our role. And so congratulations. And if there's something else, I'm not cutting you off. Please feel free. If there's something else that you'd like to talk about, other topics that you think we should be addressing. I mean, there's going to be people who watch this long after this segment ends today, and they may go back in and start typing some questions and things. We might reach back out to you. Is there
Okay.
something that you want this community to know about you, your peers, your commitment? Do you think you're the only one?
No, I'm not the only one. It's like a lot of people that I know that was in this group, and we have not like got in trouble in
Yes.
years,
Mhm.
because like we know what we're capable of now. So it's like everything with us don't always resort to violence. So it's like if it come down to it, like we already know we can just block them out and just walk right past them and not like get into it with them, or we can sit there and like, yo, I ain't mean to do that, or whatever happened, and let me say, oh yeah, my bad, and let me keep it going. Or but then like with me, it's like you come and physically like hit me, then that's when I'm going to actually hit you back. 'Cause I'm not going to hit nobody just sitting there talking or none of that no more. So I just sit there and let them talk. Most of the time with me, I just walk around the school with my headphones in and try to get to my class
Mhm.
because I don't pay attention to what nobody say. And that's just like a teacher or a adult. Then I'll be like, okay, let me pause my music and hear what they got to say.
Mhm.
But other than that, like I don't get into no trouble with no students.
Well, I'm thankful that you chose to be here this evening. And this can't be your last time. We're going to basically keep the door open for you, especially when we meet every other Saturday with our Kings group. It stands again for keeping inner city neighborhoods great and safe, in which we want to engage young people like yourself and others and some of your peers who might not think it's as cool to come in and be on camera or to talk with some elders in the community. But we want to make sure that you all who are their peers basically let them get a feel for what it's like to be able to have an outlet that is positive. Not perfect. None of us are perfect, but at least
Right.
someone that's positive that they can at least, shoot some ideas off of and know that they have an outlet. So that's what we're here for. So we thank you for being brave and courageous and stepping up, and for being a young scholar in the community where it's not really that easy this day and age. So we want to commend you for that, and thank you for being here with us, and we look forward to continuing the dialogue with you.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Very proud of you, young
Yes.
man. Eddie, thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Eddie.
All right, and that's
All
our
right.
young man, brother Eddie, Harrisburg's own. We'll see you on the other side of this commercial. The seat at the table, hosted by yours truly, Karl. Welcome back. We were joined now by our young man, brother Larry. Like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Larry. I'm from Middletown. I'm
Okay,
17.
17. Okay, and so you already know we've been having a conversation, and so we're not limited, of course, the topic to just Harrisburg. But what are some of the things that you're seeing in the Middletown community, or some things that you're experiencing as a young man?
I'm really seeing people making the wrong decisions, and I feel like they might be going down the wrong path, having a bad choice of their future.
Okay, so what are some of the things that you actually see? What are some
Uh,
of the things that you actually see? Um, with some of maybe not necessarily your friends, but people you interact with in school. And when you say choices and decision making, seem to be a hot topic, we'll say today. So, what are you thinking when you see young people in your class, in the school setting, or overall in your community? What are some of the things they're doing, and what do you think they should do better?
well, starting off with school, I see a lot of people skipping school, doing drugs in school, just not focusing on their education. I feel like that's one of the most important things, especially in your young life, that you should be focused on school. Like that's gonna help you a lot. And out in the community, I just see people using and abusing drugs, just trying to be like not something they're not supposed to be. Like you were meant to have a greater meaning to life other than just use drugs.
Mhm. So, I mean, some people are out here experimenting with drugs. Some people are actually hooked on drugs. And I'm not asking you, of course, to call people out or anything, but that impacts our communities, whether it's Middletown, Harrisburg, Lower Paxton, whatever. Drugs impacts all of our communities, white, black, rich, poor, whoever, and it does something in terms of a young person's future, which is it stymies it. You know, that drug that you start off using, or that alcohol that you start off using just to be cool or look cool or fit in, at a young age, you all aren't as developed. Even as elders, we're not developed. Our body's not meant for drugs. And then before you know it, it has you. You don't have it, it has you. And that leads down to a path that none of us are ready for. And so when you have a peer that you know um, is involved with drugs or alcohol, how does that impact you? Especially if it was if it was a close friend. Not saying it is, but if it was, or if you had experiences, has that impacted you and how you look at your day to day walk and your purpose here in your community?
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna damage everything in your life, like your job. It's gonna ruin relationships. It's gonna ruin your family, tear that apart. You're not gonna be able to be trusted by anybody. You just can't be doing that.
Yeah. So it's a trust thing. It's the commitment to family, which all I agree with everything that you just said. So, gentlemen, feel free.
You know, Larry, I believe that last year during the COVID, when it came to the school year for our young people of color and for all teenagers across the country, regardless of the color, that was a horrible year. And the impact that the COVID had on everybody, everybody seemed to turn to some sort of drug or something like that. And what I want to say, to the youth out there listening to me, like right now, is that we're finding a lot of marijuana um, um, with fentanyl in it,
Mm,
and we're getting ODs, and some of them are even dying. So, I don't know if this would help or anything like that, but please, I can't control what people do, but I can put a warning out, that this stuff that people are selling you is laced with fentanyl. Please do not take it. Please do not smoke that stuff because a lot of people don't come back from it and sometimes the police cannot get there quick enough to administer the drug that brings them back.
mm,
And we're having a lot of OD deaths among young adults and juveniles.
right. What are you seeing, Judge?
Well, I mean, it's tough to
Mm,
have these conversations with your peers. That's what I'm seeing. That a
mhm,
lot of times, the young people who are not using drugs or experimenting with drugs have a difficult time confronting their peers about it. And so I think that's what sort of fuels sort of this underground nature of what some drug use sort of morphs into. So I guess I sort of have a question, Larry. Is there a way that you can confront your peers about drug use that you think they would be receptive to and that they would listen to?
Maybe just try telling them a story about someone you know or someone you've heard about, like maybe ruin their life, and tell them about like, man, I don't want you to ruin your life like that. Like, you gotta change your ways. Like, you can't just be doing that. You don't want to ruin your life. You want to live a great life, especially to the fullest. You don't want to waste it on something stupid like that.
Larry, do
Okay.
you think that a hotline would help, like a student hotline, if you know anybody, that is doing drugs, that you can just get on the hotline, and just, drop a tip because you're trying to save a friend's life? Would that
Yeah,
help?
yeah, I feel like that helped tremendously.
So does Middletown have something like that set up?
I don't think they do.
Okay.
that might be something worth listening. That's a solution, solutions based. And then someone like yourself who takes the initiative, and you don't need to put any added pressure on yourself. You're still a young man, still growing, but if you're aware of something, as a friend, and we do it as gray and older as we get, we still, still sharpen steel. And so if there's a resource that I know about, I'm going to pass it on to my peers. If there's something they know about, they pass it on to me. And so, what I'm suggesting is not that you have to really go out there and, find the resources. You have a resource because you're connected to us now. And we'll say we're a resource for you. And at that point, we're then able to give you, because your peers are more inclined to listen to you, we're then able to tell you, oh, here's something that you might want to let them know about. Or here's a counselor that you might want to talk to or have them talk to. Or here's a pamphlet that has a list of activities that they can get involved with, so they don't have that idle time. And a lot of times what I found is young people, you all are brutally honest. So you'll say, this is why I do what I do. This is what will help me stop doing what I know I need to stop doing, and so it's up to us at that point to point you in the right direction and or bring those resources to you so that you know that there is an outlet. The young people know that there is an outlet. It's not one of those things where we should just, as elders in the community, say, go out and figure it out on your own, because truth be told, we didn't. And when we tried to, we were in trouble as well, or had gotten into trouble as well. The difference is the consequences are way different now than it was before, when we were 16, 17, 19, 21, and so basically it's disproportionate in terms of the amount of time and or consequences and things that the system is handing out to young people this day and age. And the system is not fair. We're striving to make sure that it's fair for everybody, and that's why we're all here having these conversations, not to demonize, but to bring awareness, and to not only bring awareness, but to talk about solutions. And so that's why we want to make sure that the young people are here. Do you have any questions for the gentlemen that are at the table with you? If you just talking to the mic.
I don't have any questions, but I just like to say thank you all for what y'all do for the city.
Appreciate
All
it.
right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
All right. And this is Mr. Larry. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you and understand King's organization and the overall, this whole multimedia studio is here for you and your peers as an outlet, as a resource. We're here for you. We'll see you after this commercial, a seat at the table, hosted by yours truly, Karl Singleton. Okay, and again, as we continue with our program, sharing with our young people, coming up with viable solutions and suggestions to ensure that our community becomes a safer, more nurturing, and welcoming environment for all of us. We have a young man, Jaimir, a 15-year-old. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, my name is Jamir. I'm 15 years old. I go to SciTech, and I'm in the NJROTC joint in the high.
Okay, I was in NJROTC too, 4 years.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what's up.
shout out. That counts as military service. Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
I got
there
4
you go.
years in. So, John, yeah, you're off to obviously a focused start. Why did you choose to be involved with NJROTC? Let me just ask that from the beginning.
Well, honestly, the reason why I did JROTC because right now I'm a family of 8. My mom has 8 kids, and I'm one of the oldest right now, second oldest to be exact. So the stuff that they get, I really don't get as much as they do.
Mhm.
So, and my mom is very overprotective when it comes to me. So to keep me and myself out the house, so she can be with the other kids and stuff, I did the NJROTC program.
Okay, so focus. Okay. And so that is a possible future career pathway. So you're setting things up right now, which is very mature, very, and you are to be commended, which we commend you for doing that. How is that received in school? Like you're on track to be in the military. How does that work with you
Um,
interacting with your peers?
some they don't make fun of me, but they be like when I'm walking, they be like, "What's up, Sergeant?" or like, "Aye, aye, Captain," stuff like that. Then it really don't bother me. I don't care, so I just walk away.
But they're recognizing that you're involved with something.
Mhm.
They didn't say private, they said sergeant. They're already giving you rank.
Mhm.
So I mean, they're not saying, you went AWOL or anything like that. They're
And
talking.
then
Go ahead.
my fault.
No,
And
no,
then
go
my
ahead.
one friend, he asked me how to join in JRCC because he's thinking about doing that next year.
So influence. So you're an influencer. So, and I always tell people, all peer pressure is not bad. There's some good peer pressure. And so what I like to highlight is the fact that, and I shared when you came in, I recognized who you were just from attending the games, and you seem very committed. as soon as you walked in, I was telling Coach Lee, I was like, "That's number 26." I remember him, seeing him at the games and watching how you interact with your teammates, how you encourage, how you encourage them, how even if it's something like as a sophomore, you're suiting up varsity, and you're there supportive of not only your team but your community and your peers, and that is commendable. With that being said, what is it that you see in the community when you have these two gentlemen here who are decision makers? What are some of the things that you would like to talk to them about that maybe they can help with as you continue to interact, not only in ROTC, but in the hallways, in the community, and most importantly, you're a role model for your younger peers that are in the house. So, what do you think they can help you with and people like you?
Well, to be honest, I think that people my age and even people younger, I think that we need a couple more programs for us to get out, even out of the streets or out of the homes, because some problems don't just come from the streets. Some problems come from within the household,
Mhm,
and people take that out like bullies or stuff. You never know what they're going on inside of their household. So
mhm,
they might be getting messed with, bullied at home. So they take their anger out and go to school, and all that anger is going on to somebody else because of the way they live. I really think that as us young black men, we really, even white people, we really just need a program within the school, or not even within the school, something that goes on within a week other than sports, because not everybody's athletic, not everybody gifted with like athleticism like I am, or like anybody else on the team. Not everybody's a hype man or like cheer can cheer people on because of stage fright like I do. So I think that we just need something in the community to help everybody else get out the house and do something fun, get away from all the struggles and the hardships.
mhm. How do you come back from that? I'm
I
gonna turn that over to you. Yeah.
agree
Wow.
with you, young man, and thank you for being brave enough to be here
Wow.
talking with us. And I'm understanding what you're saying. But I need for you to paint for me the picture of what type of program you're talking about.
Like basically not like a boys and girls club, but like a family, not even basically like a family friendship center. Like somewhere you go there, when you get there at first, you can do your homework, have study time. Then after that, you just group have a group session where everybody talk about how their day was, how they living, what they want to be when they grow up, stuff like that. And then after that, you go outside, either do something for the community, walk around, or even like play basketball or something. Have everybody line up and take shots at free throws or something, or teach them community stuff, or teach them how to be proactive and help in our community.
So you're saying that we need a facility to teach our young people real life skills because, like you said, everybody isn't as athletic as you are, the other guys on the Cougars football team.
Yes, sir.
So, and you said, that a lot of people may be getting bullied inside their homes and different things like that. And so they need a place to go where they can unwind and just take it easy and things like that. Well, young man, the city has come across a whole lot of money. I don't have the power to suggest anything. Well, I have the power to suggest something, but I'm going to get somebody in contact with you, so that you can sit down, so that you can talk with them, so that hopefully that there's a place that we can purchase and design a program just like you're talking about right now.
Yes, sir.
And thinking about money, aside from the money and purchasing the place, we own these school buildings. Well, we won't get into that, but we have access to these school buildings. And there's American Rescue Plan dollars that have come in, and we have contacted, and the King's Group has had conversation with the superintendent. So to hear this, I'm hearing clearly that there's some specificity that he spoke to in terms of what would help others like himself inside these school walls, especially at a younger age. So that's a take back that we also have down to present to the superintendent and those that are in leadership. Miss Felton, who's at the high school in particular, and Dr. A down at Sci Tech. So yeah, we'll definitely move on with that. The judge.
Yeah, yeah. Jamir, you're a very impressive young man, and I think that you sort of hit the nail on the head that, it's not one size fits all. We can't have a boys and girls club where, you only focus on sports or athletics or that's the only outlets that kids have. Kids need a lot of different outlets. And we need those outlets for people before they get caught up in the criminal justice system. I see a lot of programs that I send kids to after they've gotten in trouble, but what you're talking about is something that would sort of achieve the same goal of trying to get kids moved in a positive direction, but before they get in trouble, before they become a part of the criminal justice system. So I hope Chief Carter and the folks in the city start looking to design programs, because on the front end, if we can keep kids out of trouble, then we don't have to waste the resources on the back end. But you have a lot of insight, young man. I think you have wisdom beyond your age. So I'm proud to have met you, and I think it would be important for you to talk to Chief Carter and continue to let the dialogue about programs that you think might help the youth in the city.
All right. And again, thank you very much. We're going to keep you on. When we come back, we're going to turn this over to a youth panel, and then we're going to let the adults listen as we continue to move this evening along, this segment of A Seat at the Table. So we'll be back on the other side of this commercial. And young man, you'll still be here with us and you'll lead the discussion.
Okay.
All right. Stay tuned. All right, and we are back to Seat at the Table as we continue our community conversation with our young people. As we continue to have this discussion about our community with our young people in particular. What can I say, Duff? I mean, you've been in, although you only look 15, 16 like you're one of the youth here. We're gonna have to tell the truth, and in terms of the years of service and dedication, when we talk about unsung heroes and people giving them their flowers while they're still here, you definitely rise to the occasion. You've been here and doing this body of work since I was a cadet. And so I'm thankful for you. Glad that you're still here in terms of in this profession. These young people are all the better for it. What are you seeing? I want to start with you. You've heard this dialogue. You are no stranger to the community in terms of proactively trying to keep kids out of the legal system, but then as in terms of getting them through the system as well when they have some hiccups. But there's something different about these young people in a positive way this day and age, especially those that we have here with us. What are some of the things that you're seeing with our young people in the environment, especially dealing with this environment what you're facing today?
I know from my own experience in dealing with youth, like I've been dealing with youth for the past 40 years. I'm a product of Harrisburg High myself. I mean, I was born and raised here in Harrisburg. Um, and over the years, I've seen a lot of things change, what I mean, over within Harrisburg. I don't know if, like I said, we're not doing enough, but I always like to tell the youth, and I always ask the youth, what can we do more to help y'all? Can y'all open up a little bit more and give us some information, give us some type of dialogue, what we can do, to keep you going in the right direction? Because there's a lot of things that's out here, like I said, and the support system is out here. We just got to use our resources, and I think the youth are not using the resources productively. But I don't know if we're putting ourselves out there enough.
Exactly. Yes.
So they can see what's out there for them. Because I know a lot of times growing up in Harrisburg, I mean, I put myself out there. Like I said, I've been dealing with youth for so many years. My main thing with youth is just like I said, I'm a listener. I'm gonna listen to what you're saying. I'm gonna try to make sure that you get the benefits based on the information that I have for you. Because I want you to get the benefits from the information that we have for you, so you can be productive people, so you can grow up to be the best young men and women that you can be. So I want them to open up more. I want them to open up more, and like I said, and talk to us. Let us know what we can do. Like I said, the violence in Harrisburg scares me daily. It's just so much going on, especially with these young people. And I don't know what we're missing. I don't even know sometimes if I'm doing enough. So, every day I put myself out there, and I let the youth know that I'm here.
And that's why we're having this conversation. historically, we've had these conversations
Mhm.
absent the youth.
Right.
And now we still have the issues that we're saying we don't know what's going on. Well, now we're saying we need the youth at the table leading the discussion,
Exactly. I agree
interacting,
with
so
you.
they're
Go ahead.
aware of the resources that are out here. And we're, we're not just going to totally say here it is and walk away, but here's how you navigate this system. Here's okay, if you tell us what you need, but that goes back how we were talking earlier. We have to build a rapport with them.
Right.
We have to let them know that we're trustworthy.
That's right.
And at that point, I believe then that's when the dialogue happens. So, young man, introduce yourself, sir. Sit up in the mic, give it to us. You
Shamar,
shy.
I play football for John Harris High School, and I play baseball and I wrestle.
Baseball, football, baseball, and wrestling. Okay, we got it all. And how old are you?
16.
16. Okay, so what are some of the things that you see going on? You've heard the conversation, you've been here. What are some things you like to add or you think um, was missed so far in the conversation? Because this is what we're all here for, to learn from each other.
Like I don't know, really like getting like kids in like certain programs and stuff, and like stopping the violence and like so they could speak more. Some kids like that, they don't know how to speak and let their emotions out to talk.
So some conflict resolution programs. Do you?
Yeah.
So right now, you're speaking right now. This is different for you, or is this different for you? Let me ask you a question. Or are you used to speaking, to your peers or to audiences or to unfamiliar faces? Are you used to doing that, and are you comfortable doing that?
I'm comfortable with it.
Comfortable. Okay. Were you always comfortable with?
Not really.
Right. So what helped you?
Um, like me thinking about it, like how it is, and when like words could change a person's uh like outlook on life.
Right. Right. And so you're willing to be a tool to help, and that's commendable because as I was saying earlier, um, we need to make sure that peers are talking to one another. If there's a total breakdown in terms of people your age not talking to older people and not thinking you should talk to younger people, and then you're not talking to each other, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
How do you know about the resources? What are some programs that you think should be in the schools or not? And let me go back. Not only in the schools, what are some programs that should be available to you? Because there's things that we can't dump everything on the schools either. What are some programs that you think should be available in the community?
Like programs where you could just sit down and talk to people and yeah, like crime and safety programs, stuff like
Crime and
that,
safety. Okay, all right.
and just like talking about like what you want to do when you grow up and stuff.
So career. So we throw the buzzword around a lot, career pathways,
Yeah.
in schools and things. But so, do you have a chance when you're in school or in certain programs or dealing with certain adults? Do you have a chance to really talk about why you want to do certain things when you grow up? Do you have those types of conversations?
Yeah, with like my guidance counselor in school and stuff.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Young man,
Um,
more that you might like to add?
yeah, and also I think with this, even with athletics and stuff, I think we should, even though, because the percent of them actually going into the NFL, NBA, MLB, any stuff like that, it's very, very low. So I think that we need, as a community, like not to downplay anybody's dreams, because I know everybody has dreams. Everybody, anything can happen, miracles, anything. But we also need to let them know that not everything is possible. So we need to, even though it's sport, because you know how some people, they were stars on the football field. They don't get an offer, then everything just goes downhill at that
Mm.
second. Soon as they don't get an offer, everything goes downhill. So I think with the sports community, we all need to tell everybody that plays sports and help them out with different career paths. I'm not saying don't give up on the sport that you're doing because everybody has lifelong goals. It's just that sports isn't everything. And we need to teach everybody that there's more ways of making money than sports. Like a plumber, plumbers make a whole bunch of money. You wouldn't even think about the much money they make. Electricians, There's carpenters even, or people that make clothes, designer clothes, making millions of dollars just by creating a clothing line for people. Sports isn't everything. I do want to go to the NFL myself, but I know I'm really for my age, I'm short. I'm 5'6". So for a 15-year-old, I'm very short. But I also know I got other things I could do, like books, smartness. I could be like I wanted to be a lawyer when I was a kid. I know I can still do that if I want to. So we need to tell everybody that plays sports, try to find different goals that they can achieve. Basically, a backup plan, and then even with the backup plan, they need a backup plan for that backup plan.
How do you respond to that one right there?
Yeah.
Except for applause, you know.
That's right.
So, you know, let's just have that conversation with your young man here. How would you encourage your peer right here if he was undecided about what he wanted to do um, after high school?
With him,
Talk to him as if we're not here.
well, honestly, mama, like
Yeah.
I could see you not being honestly a construction worker or something. You're big, you got the muscles for it. Break buildings down, anything like that. You're a lineman, so normally knocking people out of the way, you can do that. Or even not even a construction worker. If you want to go take the time and just want to be by yourself, stocks, honestly, you can do if you got the smartness for it, the stocks, buy and sell, that makes people a whole bunch of money. Like right now, I know one of my friends that they have their mother do stocks. And right now she got even if they don't got a college, she got a bank account for him and his little brother. So where if they don't go to college, they're good. They're sitting on tons of money right now with just stocks.
Mhm. So, what would you say in response? So he's and I'm not saying he needs to talk to you about this. I'm just trying to conjure up a conversation so that our viewing audience can see that our young men do talk to each other. You know, so and especially being teammates, I know y'all talk, so that's why I had him do that. So, what do you say in response to both of you have scholarships, academic scholarships, but you can play football if you choose to. How do you encourage each other to go to school together, the same school, and what are you going to major in?
Personally, I want to be a geologist when I grow up.
Mhm.
So yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't encourage him to do something that he wouldn't want to do. But like, if I think it's good for him to do that thing, I would make him do it or encourage him to do it.
Okay. And what if they don't? What if he doesn't want to go to college? How would you encourage him?
Um, just making like think about it and like change his outlook on life.
Hmm. So, what suggestions would you give? You know, because the truth is, and you heard it here first if you never heard it before, college is not for everybody.
Yeah,
You know, and so the added pressure. I'm saying everybody has to go to college. Now, college is available as an option if that's a choice. It shouldn't be closed off as an option for anyone, but it's not one of those things where everybody has to go. Go ahead. Yes.
But also even though college isn't for everybody, since we were kids, everybody, school, even school, being into our heads, college, 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 grades for college, grades for college. So not everybody know that college is an option.
Mhm.
And I got some people, pretty sure, believe college is their only option. And they don't go to college, there's nothing they can do.
Mhm. And that's why I think it's important to have these conversations. And you're right. And I'm apologizing for the adults who's only telling our young people that it's college or failure. You know, college is an option. Yes, a lot of us go to college. A lot of us also don't graduate from college. And that's the truth. And that doesn't mean that we're any more or less successful. It just meant that we learned at a different standpoint that college might not have been for us at that time. It's not to say that you can't go back to college as a more seasoned adult. It's not to say that you have to go to a 4-year college. Sometimes going to a 2-year institution is better for some people. Sometimes going to a trade school is better. Some type of post-secondary education opportunity is available and should be pursued, I think, by everyone beyond 12th grade. I do believe that. But to say it's a you're a bust if you don't go to a 4-year college, live on campus, and all of that. Hey, newsflash, a lot of people were going uh, online courses. You know, college, that's still college. A lot of people were there. Harrisburg Area Community College is one of the top colleges, community colleges in the nation, and we drive by it almost every day for at least 2 times a week. I'll say on average, if you live in the city or close to it, 2 times a week, whether that's downtown, midtown, or out, on Cameron Street. So, or Hack Drive, we'll say. So we have to define success for ourselves as long as it's positive. And I beat that, and beat that drum and beat that drum. But to your point, right? We as adults, and I believe there's a bit of a shift that's happening. To your point, in talking about career pathways, because we're coming slowly but surely around to recognizing that we're doing a disservice by saying college or bust for everyone. 'Cause that's not everybody's outlook. So, what are you thinking? What are you
And
guys
like
thinking right now before we close out?
and like when people like they fall out of college or college like they fail out of college, they drop down to the lowest level of their life instead of just keeping up and keeping the hard work
Mhm,
up.
mhm. And to the earlier points, though, you still have military as an option
Yeah.
that you go in there and they end up paying for you to go back to college. And talking about debt, I'm a living testament. We're going to talk about debt in college. Take it from me, that if you're not sure about how to pay for college, you should have additional options that you consider until you're really serious about it. Because I was not as serious as I should have been when I first started off in college, going to college. It was, what everybody thought I should do. It was what I thought I should do. And it was, it was something I liked. Yeah. But I didn't really understand, my purpose initially, aside from to say, what, yeah, I'm going to graduate in 4 years. Yeah, that's a good purpose. But once I got there, there was so much more going on in terms of the college atmosphere and dynamics that, quite frankly, a cultural shift and a cultural shock, quite frankly, that was different. And academically, yeah, I was prepared, but nobody is prepared, when you have the academic shift, the social shift, and the culture, there's a whole different thing that comes into play. So that's what I'm saying. We need to make sure that we make it an option for our young people to have that belief. If they want to go to college, it's an option for them, but not it should not be the only tool in your tool bag.
That's right.
So, yes, sir.
Um, I've been also wanting to say, even with our young people, even though I know people aren't as athletic as everybody, but even if you don't have nobody to talk to, I would say try to reach out to a sports team because even though I know coaches are going to be hard on you, they want to see you do better. So even though they might yell and scream like you're hustle or like you're not doing this right or you're not doing that right, it's not that they're yelling at you. It's that they're trying to tell you in the other way that I know you could do better than this. I know that you are way better than this. Like this with this June when I first started playing and practicing for the Cougars, I could barely lift 220s on a squat bench. Now I can lift 120 doing squats.
Mm,
And that's something that I'm proud of myself with, and that's something that I'm proud of my coaches with, because when I was doing it, all the coaches just kept on saying, "Come on, man! Like I know you can lift more than that." Or the players, "Come on, man! I know that's weak. That's light work. Why are you doing that?" So that just got me on to all right. I could do 20 now, 22 20s, 40. All right, I could do that. Now I'm gonna add a 25. I could do 50 now and then progress, progress, progress. Sports is even though you're not people can be as athletic as or like some people don't have the courage to get up every morning at like 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning, go on morning jogs that help them with their still sports teams can be a family for you. Even if you don't
mm,
want to play sports, you can go out there, help out with waters, help out with the balls. Yeah, you're gonna get made fun of. But it's not like they mean it. It's like it's a joke. Everybody jokes. When our first game when we play what's that team? Pine Richland. I didn't even get in. I had to give water out all game. And all my teammates, even though they was laughing at first at me, like, oh man, you water boy. But then after the game, as soon as I got on the bus, everybody looking at me like, hey yo, like, thank you. You was a real teammate. Or that game at Gabriel and Mifflin, how that blowout that we suffered our first loss to, our teammates was like, even though at first everybody, when I was in the locker room, yelling at people like, y'all better than this, man, come on, get up. And it was like, come on, man, like, shut up right now. It's not the time. We got on the bus. I was mad because we lost, so I was mad. Everybody on the bus was cheering me up. Usually I cheer them up. I hype them on. Everybody was hyping me up and hyping me on, talking about, come on, man, it's okay. First loss of the season. We just all got to do better. And ever since that, we've been going on a game win streak now. What's this, like I believe our third win streak right now? With CD East.
Who?
With us versus CD East.
Who?
CD East.
Never heard of him.
Never heard
Nah,
of
he's a
Central
CD's
Dolphins?
grads.
Well, I think with that, like, our sports is like another family.
Yeah.
I do sports. I love my mom to death, but I like me and her. We literally two peas in a pod. Me and her are bump heads because
Okay, all right, we're not going to get you.
Well, like, I'm sorry, like,
no,
but,
I'm
like,
just messing with you. Go ahead, I'm
like,
just joking with you, but
sports are like
your mom might be watching, so
nah,
make
like,
sure you guys
I'm
somewhere
not
to go
saying
when we
anything,
leave here.
not anything
We
bad. but,
love
like,
you, mom.
we do love you, mom. But like sports. A sports team is a home away from home.
Yeah,
To get you out, or like you like say you don't want to be in the house. That games last from like 2 to 3 hours. And even if it feels like it lasts 2 to 3 hours, but or even if it don't last that long, the trip, a home ride, I guarantee you, that's going to be a long drive. A long drive back home. So like that's your way to get out the house, or your way to connect with people.
And I, we that.
That's, you can't
First of all, we were in, and we definitely have to end on that one. Just that positivity, that encouragement, that positive peer pressure. I thank you. I thank both of you for showing the courage. We this is, as we're talking out here, this is your first, but definitely will not be your last time, here in the studios, and hopefully, with all of our young people that we have in here, this could be your home away from home. We have a vision room back in the back, whether it's chess or checkers, or we'll bring a game in if y'all want to game it up. I don't even know how to play chess. Y'all can teach me. But so we got chess players in here too. But this has been a really fulfilling. This has been the best podcast we had. Definitely, this has definitely been the best podcast, that we've had, because it's community led, and most importantly, it's our young people, our future, our current young scholars, and the future of our community who is running the show. And I'm not even going to do any more closeouts. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to leave it to you two. If you two want to say something to take us out of here, do so right now, please.
Oh, showtime.
It's
Well,
showtime.
if you like to hear a podcast, and if you want to see this face again on the podcast, I'm saying get the views up. I want to see more people on here because I only see 10 people right now. I want to see more people on these podcasts, and I want to see more people trying to help out the community. So if y'all want to see my face again, y'all already know, just hit up this podcast. When is it? When's the times for this podcast?
Mondays and Thursdays.
Well,
And when do you want to
honestly, it is
Monday and Thursdays from 6 to 8 is a seat at the table, but we have plenty of space for you if you want to do a podcast. As long as your parents agree to this, I mean, you already got the show. You can go Monday and Wednesday after practice. Monday and Thursdays after practice. They can bump me.
Well,
Definitely love your energy.
This seat at the table, I believe, right?
It is, but it's your table.
Yep. If my friend want to say anything other than that, I think this has been a good podcast and a good positivity show right here.
All right, and on that, we'll see you next time on his seat at the table. Shout out Cougars 26,
Yes, sir.
Hype Man, new podcast member. We'll see you next time on a seat at the table.